She said, oh no. And I'm like, what?
I want to begin with gratitude, for truly I am grateful for your presence here today, here in this spiritual community. Reverend Nikki says that your presence makes a difference. Your presence makes a difference to our collective experience. My presence makes a difference. I make a difference to our collective experience. And so to begin with, I want you to turn to somebody and say, I make a difference. I make a difference. And then you get to say, you do make a difference. You do make a difference. You do make a difference in this community and in the world. And I'm grateful for your presence here today. For the entire month of January, we are taking a look at what I call Unity Basics. The redefinition, the reconnection, the regrouping and the remembering of our fundamental unity teachings. Last week I gave you a list and it looks like this. Consciousness, spiritual truth, the absolute, the relative, false beliefs, principles. We went through some of these things last week. We talked about it's the law. We talked about creative process. We talked about denials and affirmations. And we talked about this incredibly long mission. And I invited you, if you chose to accept it for 2017, this incredibly long mission. I went to business school. Some of you know I have a master's in business administration. Well, if I had turned in a mission statement like this as an assignment, it would not have been accepted. It has an extraordinary number of words. And I think some of those words are good when you first put out the concept because they're like, yes, I understand about the creative process. Now I have a better understanding of the law. I understand how to consciously activate. So if we were to take out all of that unity language, we might actually get something that would be short, concise, and memorable. Because that's what I was taught in business school. Short, concise, and memorable. And in the church I grew up in, we had a mission statement that was short, concise, and memorable. It was experience and express our oneness with God. That was it. Experience and express our oneness with God. It was really simple. And not only could I remember it, but I could actually live it because it was so simple. So my thing today is to take out some of those words and just say our mission is expanding our capacity for goodness. Expanding our capacity for goodness. This is an invitation to consciousness, a skill set, and an experience that I not only want us to develop all during 2017, I want us to master it in 2017. Consciously expand a capacity for goodness. We are good. We just sometimes forget. Here's a cartoon. Who's the good dog? And the dog says, well, that's a hell of a question. Who's the good boy? Who among us can truly said to be good? What is goodness? You are. The dog says, what? And the woman says, yes. And he says, amazing. And herein lies one of the differences between dogs and humans. You tell a dog that it's goodness, and the dog says, amazing. You tell a human that a human is goodness, and the human says, are you sure? Are you talking about me? Well, I try. But you don't really know me. You don't know what I've done and what I've thought and what I've said. Unity principle number 2. We only have 5. So each one is super important. Unity principle number 2 is we are born in original virtue. We are born good. We are born whole. We are born perfect. Goodness is our birthright. Goodness is who and what we are. I don't know how our mission statement is going to play out in 2017. I don't know how we're going to be expanding our capacity for goodness, but I know what it feels like. I know I'm good when I feel grateful. I'm good when I feel happy. How do you know you're good? I'm good when I feel
Joy.
joy. I'm good when I feel joy. I'm good when I feel love. I'm good when I feel peace. I'm good when I live authentically.
Yeah.
You're good when you're what? When you're baking, okay. I can personally attest that her baking is pure goodness. But that's how we know that we are living in that expanded capacity for goodness. All of these states of being, all of these attitudes, authenticity, baking, love, peace, gratitude, generosity, all of these are pathways to goodness. Because sometimes we forget that we're good. Being good isn't something we need to acquire. Being good is not something we need to attract. Like, we can't say, I'm going to attract, more flickering lights. I'm going to attract goodness. It's like we already are good. We already are. But we have to develop antidotes and spiritual practices to remind us that we are, and to actually bump up that capacity, that ever-increasing capacity of goodness that we remember. One of the best antidotes to feeling less than is courage. Martin Luther King Jr. says, courage, we must build dikes of courage to hold off the flood of fear. And another great antidote or spiritual practice is meditation. And why are these important? Because what we see in the world isn't always wonderful. Look, what we see, what appears to us, doesn't always look wonderful. The truth is that scientific research has proven that our brains are hardwired for a negative bias. Our brains are hardwired, and when you think about the thousands and thousands of years of human existence, we've had to be able to notice things that were, it's a sign from God. We've had to notice things that are different or dangerous. We've had to notice those in order to survive. Our brains have hardwired themselves to evolve that way. But with antidotes like courage and with spiritual practices like meditation, we can rewire our brain. I love what Joe Dispenza says. His work is all about rewiring the brain so we can evolve in a positive way, in a way that suits our growing, expanding capacity for goodness. It's just a matter of switching neurons. It's a matter of recalibrating. It's a matter of realignment. Those thought streams that come through as fear or anxiety were gifts to us, but we no longer need them all the time. You know, if you get stuck in a thought stream or a thought process of anxiety or fear, it's called paranoia. And in the song, there was a real in the 70s, there was a real headbanger song, Paranoia will destroy you. It does. Paranoia. I can do it. Justin can only do it. You know what I mean? It will, unless we make a different choice, unless we choose to expand our capacity for goodness. There is an opposite of paranoia, and it's called pronoia. Pronoia is clearly defined as the universe is conspiring for our good. The universe, not just my heart, not just my mind, not just God inside and outside, but the universe is conspiring for our good. It doesn't always look like it, but ultimately the universe is conspiring for our good. Mike Dooley has a subscription, not a subscription service, but you can get his daily emails, and they're called Notes from the Universe. Mike Dooley says this: what if every unexpected delay, postponement, or redirect only meant that at the very last second, right before the scheduled manifestation, I had an even better idea. It happens. With Pronoia, everything is wonderful. Desmond Tutu was noted for his response. Take note now, his response to anything that was happening, any event, any activity, any experience, he would say, that's wonderful. So when he got caught in traffic and he knew he was going to be late for a big speaking engagement, like a stadium full of people were waiting for him, and there he was in traffic, he would say, that's wonderful. When he invited his good friend the Dalai Lama to come to South Africa to celebrate his 80th birthday, the government said you can't have a visa to the Dalai Lama, and somehow Desmond Tutu just said that's wonderful. When he woke up in the morning and the sun was shining, he would say that's wonderful. And when he looked into the eyes of a child, he would say that's wonderful. Can you imagine every response you had to anything that was going on in the world is that's wonderful? Try it. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Charles Fillmore says it this way: do not be surprised and disappointed if everything does not work out according to your ideas. The all-seeing mind should not be judged by the dim and short vision of the mortal. What may at first seem to you failure may prove to be a clearing away of rubbish that will open the way in mind to a larger life. I don't know if you know the free will astrologer Rob Bresney. He says all of creation is conspiring to shower us with blessings. Life is crazily in love with us. Let's say that. Life is crazily in love with us. Brazenly and innocently in love with us. The universe always gives us exactly what we need, exactly when we need it. That's what Unity calls divine right order. We are always getting exactly what we need when we need to get it. We are always feeling exactly what we need to feel when we need to feel it. We are always manifesting and demonstrating exactly what we need to manifest and demonstrate when we need to manifest and demonstrate it. Divine right order is all about expanding our capacity for goodness. It's about that ever-increasing amount of goodness that we can conceive of. That ever-increasing amount of goodness that we actually believe in our bones that we deserve. This is the ticket to joy, love, and peace. I've been practicing my whistle. This is the ticket to joy, love, and peace. And it comes back to courage, and it comes back to spiritual practice. I want to share with you a parable by Osho. Osho talks about a man who was a seeker, and this man wanted to have a greater capacity for goodness in his life, and he was looking here and he was looking there, and he was asking people and he was interviewing and he was even writing books and blogs about it. And then one day he gets the good idea to go to the great master and ask the great master, what can I do that will give me a greater capacity for goodness in my life? And he finds the great master on the beach, and so he bends down and he reverently touches the feet of the great master and asks him this question. And the great master looks at him and then closes his eyes and sits there silently. Well, the man has been looking for a long time, and he gets a little agitated. And he starts thinking, this great master is crazy. I ask him a question, and all he does is sit there and close his eyes and say nothing. So finally, he's so agitated and so anxious that he gives him a little nudge, what some people might perceive as a shake. He gives him a little nudge and says, excuse me, great master, I'm asking you with deference and respect, and could you, see another message from the universe. I'm asking you please to tell me what is the secret of expanding my capacity for goodness. I need a word. I need some kind of word from you. And so the master goes and he takes his finger, and nice, perfect print, he writes in the sand, meditation. And the man says, excuse me, that's not enough. You need to give me more. You need to give me more so that I can really understand and be able to communicate and teach others. So the master nods his head, and then he takes his finger in the sand and he says, meditation. He goes, then what are you talking about? I need more than a word. You just made it bigger, and that's not fair. And the master says, if I give you any more, it would be wrong, and it would be hard. Meditation is all that you need do to expand your capacity for goodness. I think that's incredibly profound. And gee, we come to church every week just to hear that. Because we have forgotten. Maybe not entirely, but our mission truly is to remember that this is our divine inheritance, and that divine right order is perfection. It is the universe conspiring for our good. In the announcement time, I shared that Curious Souls is getting together starting the 22nd to do the Book of Joy. And I thought, well, being a good minister, I better read the book before I stand up there. And I knew I was going to love this book from page 1. On page 1, it says this: no dark fate determines our future. We do. We do. Each day and each moment, we are able to create and recreate our lives and the very quality of human life on our planet. No dark fate determines our future. We do. By the way we rewire our brain, by the way we evolve as human beings, by the way we live our holy purpose, by the way we take action based in love and joy and peace. I read through the whole book, and the last 40 pages are all about practices for joy. Every practice begins with meditation. So let's sing our way into meditation with our own practice of joy. To begin from the goodness that we are, from the thousands of things that go right in our lives every day. Every day we wake up at some point and go, my goodness, I'm still breathing. This is going right. My goodness, my heart is still beating. And when we open our eyes, we can say, I can distinguish shadow and light and color and vibrancy. And knowing that every day the sun will shine, just as divine right order, just as the universe conspires for our good, just as Spirit flows through us. So let's sing. Flow through me.